Olá! A nossa convidada de hoje para o nosso Scoliosis Talks Brasil 2020 é Sanja Schreiber. Ela se formou em fisioterapia no seu país de nascimento, a Sérvia. E ela dedicou grande parte de sua vida a tratar crianças e adultos com deformidades da coluna vertebral. Ela se tornou uma fisioterapeuta de escoliose certificada no Método Schroth em 2008, após ser treinada na Asklepios Katharina Schroth Clínica para deformidade da coluna vertebral em Bad Sobbenheim, Alemanha, onde se especializou no tratamento de crianças com escoliose idiopática. Ela se mudou para o Canadá, onde vive atualmente, para realizar sua pesquisa e obter o seu doutorado em tratamento de escoliose. Ela então atua como pesquisadora também. Ela é membro do comitê diretor da SOSORT e se tornou instrutora oficial no Método Schroth e SST e ministra cursos dessa formação no Canadá e em vários países, incluindo o Brasil. A doutora Sanja também tem muito a contribuir conosco. Assista! Hi, Sanja. Welcome to Scoliosis Talks Brasil 2020. We sincerely thank you for accepting our invitation, adding a lot of value to our event that aims to disseminate the correct information about scoliosis.
Thank you for inviting me.
You have an inspiring trajectory in the field of scoliosis that combines technical expertise with passion. We recognize this every time you have been with us here in Brazil, both when you're teaching and when dealing directly with the patients. Your eyes shine with contagious energy. Your scientific publications serve as a basis for the evidence of the Schroth method in the treatment of scoliosis. So I have some questions for you. And the first is, can you clarify, as a member of the SOSORT board, what is evidence-based scoliosis treatment?
That's a very good question, Patricia. I would just like to start by first saying who coined the term evidence-based medicine. Yes. And that was Dr. Gordon Guyatt, who is a distinguished professor at McMaster University here in Canada. And he's the father of this term, evidence-based method. He coined this term in 1991, recognizing the need for applying the most, the evidence, the treatment that has the most evidence. So now we need to understand what does that actually mean. So in a sense of a clinician applying the evidence-based treatment, this is all about the patient. You put the patient first, and then you try to understand as a clinician, what is the best available evidence for that condition that you are treating your patient for. And then you use your best clinical judgment to apply the treatment. So it's a combination of two things. You have to first understand what is the best available evidence, and then based on your expertise as a clinician, you must make a clinical judgment that is going to be the best for that patient. So in a sense of evidence-based scoliosis treatment, this means you need to understand as a clinician who has in front of themselves a patient with scoliosis, what is the best possible evidence that exists. And that means that it's not maybe necessarily going to be the one that you learned at school. You have to stay abreast of research. You have to stay abreast of knowledge, of the most current knowledge on scoliosis treatment. You have to keep on updating yourself if you wish to treat patients with scoliosis. So this is, in a nutshell, what evidence-based scoliosis treatment would be.
Okay. Thank you. So,
is that
one
okay?
more. It's fantastic. It's very, very, very good.
Okay.
And the other question for you is, what are the PSSE?
Yes. So PSSE stands for Physiotherapeutic Scoliosis Specific Exercises. So it's a little bit of a mouthful. It's a very long term, and also I'm going to say it was coined by my dear colleague Josette Bethany-Saltykov, and it is about understanding what is the best physiotherapeutic exercise treatment for scoliosis. So in order for an exercise treatment to be qualified as PSSE or physiotherapeutic scoliosis specific exercise, it has to have certain values in it. So first of them is it has to have patient education. So if you are applying the PSSE, this method has to have patient education. This means educating a patient about their particular scoliosis and how it affects their posture. Then this patient also needs to be taught about autocorrection in all three planes of the body, because we know that scoliosis is three-dimensional. So the patient needs to be able to perform autocorrection in 3D. The next thing is that this training will be then applied in activities of daily living. So we will be using the concept of the particular PSSE method in training in activities of daily living. This means, how can I apply the principles of this particular PSSE method in everything that a person does in their life? For example, sleeping, how should I be sleeping? What should my posture be? If I'm sitting, if I'm walking, if I'm brushing my teeth, I need to be able to use these principles in activities of daily living. And finally, this has to be stabilized. This means this has to become second nature to the patient. So the patient has to be able to stabilize this corrected posture, to be able to really perform everything, what we say, outside of the curve. So in a nutshell, that is a definition of physiotherapeutic scoliosis-specific exercises. And I just want to add that, this being said, it is important that it has the method that can call itself physiotherapeutic scoliosis-specific exercise. It really has to have all of these four components. And it is not enough just to say the treatment is PSSE. It really has to have all of these components, and it has to be applied in exactly proper way, given the three-dimensional aspects of scoliosis.
Yes. Oh, good.
Is that okay?
Thank you.
You tell me if something like you want me to say more, like, or if there's, like, if you would like that I mention, if I don't touch what you want me to do, just tell me if I can, then, and I will just add. Okay?
Of course. It's great. It's fantastic. So the other question, Sanja, is if I get some exercises, for example, from Schroth ISST, can I say that I continue to treat based on evidence? So extracting some exercises from each of the 7 schools of scoliosis treatment and applying them, one of each. Could be it said that an evidence-based treatment is being offered to our patients?
Right. Well, in short answer is no. And the reason why is because the person has to have a specific training in this particular method. So if I don't have a training in dry needling, which I don't have, I cannot say I'm applying the evidence-based method in dry needling because I don't have the training. I cannot, go and take a look at, just view YouTube videos or take book and read about dry needling. And just because there is a paper that suggests that some patients with low back pain experience some relief when they are using dry needling, I cannot say that I'm applying evidence-based method because I'm not trained in dry needling. So this is the same to say that a person who is not trained in a scoliosis-specific exercise treatment, and just by observing some exercises or applying something what they have seen on YouTube, is just not the best practice for a patient, because there's so much more that we need to understand about this particular treatment. Each scoliosis is completely different. Even if you have two persons who have exactly same cob angles, and let's say they have same right thoracic curvature, these two curves will never be the same. Even if they start at the and end at the same vertebrae, even if they have same apex, these two curves will never be the same, because you have an entire person in front of yourself, and you need to understand what is the best treatment for that particular patient, given the specific curve that you will not be able to classify unless you actually have this training. So evidence-based medicine or evidence-based treatment for scoliosis, again, goes back to what I said previously, which is you have to have that patient in front of you as the most important, thing that you are dealing with. So you have to be able to provide the best possible treatment, which also includes yourself as a clinician being trained in this method, so that you can be sure that you can apply these methods as needed for this particular patient.
Yes, perfect. Thank you. Thank you so much. This is an important explanation and clarification too. Yes. Yeah. My next question is, you are an Schroth ISST official instructor, right?
Yes.
On a hypothetical question, if I take a training and get a certificate, do I immediately become an instructor? What does it take to become an instructor, Sanja?
Right. Yes. Well, obviously, if you take the training, which is training in becoming an ISST Schroth therapist, you are becoming Schroth therapist, right? Mm-hmm. So that means that at this point in time, you have the right to treat patients applying the method that you have learned, but certainly doesn't qualify you for teaching other practitioners in the method. Okay, so for me, for example, I'll tell you my story. I first got trained in the Schroth method in 2008, after which I started treating my patients at my private practice back home. I'm from Serbia originally. Then I came to Canada in 2009 to run this randomized controlled trial on the method, which started in 2009. And the part of my PhD ended in 2013. So from that point on, I continued treating patients also outside of the study. At the same time, I was in continuous contact with Axel Hennes, who is our official instructor for the Schroth method, and who has trained all of us instructors. And we continued continuous collaboration and exchange. And I visited Germany over there on multiple occasions. Then I conducted 2 independent courses while Axel was there. So that was my, exam for part 1. Then I did the same for part 2. Finally, I got licensed to be able to do part 1 course, and then finally part 2 in 2016. So it took 8 years for me to become international Schroth instructor.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so to say this in maybe different words, in order to become a fully trained Schroth instructor, you need to have a continuous clinical experience, applying the Schroth method day in, day out, treating your patients, following exact practice as trained during the course. You have to use you have to continue to collect the data as we are teaching our therapists in the courses. And you really have to have dedication to the method.
Yes, of course. Because it's scoliosis is so complex, no?
Yeah.
And of course, the method, the Schroth, is complex too. So it's so necessary to understand this.
That's right.
Because
you really have to have a clear understanding of the method. You really have to also have didactical skills to be able to transfer your knowledge to the next therapists,
yes.
so that the people can really understand what is the bottom of the method, so that they can apply this in their own practice. So it's not really, I mean, it's a combination of different things, right? You have to have your dedication. All of us who are Schroth, ISSSD Schroth instructors actually only have scoliosis practices. This is the only thing that we treat. We only treat patients with scoliosis and obviously other spinal disorders, but not as a part of regular physiotherapy, but just scoliosis treatment. So we only see patients with scoliosis. This means being dedicated to this particular population and to the method. And then another thing, as I mentioned, you really have to be able to be a good educator so that you can transfer this knowledge to other therapists.
Yes. Perfect. It's the reason of the Scholi Talks is to bring to Brazil the best information. So I believe that is so important for the people here to know about this. No? It's so important. Then the next question is, you, in addition to working with great competence, have a lot of love for what you do. It's all of us seeing this in you. Could you share with us some of your results, or through the narrative, for example, in the cases, or what you want to say about this for the people here?
Yes, there's, this work, what I do, is just something that I don't consider work. This is not a job for me. This is something that I truly enjoy. Every day when I get up, I am excited to be able to do what I'm doing, you know. I get chills when I even think about it. And that's all I talk in home. I mean, my kids go outside and say, "Oh, Mom, you know, she has scoliosis, right?" You know? I say, "No, pointy fingers," you know. But it is all about, I think, in my opinion, is bringing back to the community. So the freshest thing that I can tell you right now is what happened today. Today, we got one of our clients come into the clinic with a full bag of rice bags. She sold all of these rice bags by herself, and she brought them here, you know, to our clinic, so that people who cannot afford them can have access.
Oh,
so this is something that just warms up my heart. You see, and this is because she feels gratitude for being helped, for being able, you know, to live her life pain-free, with more ability to do things. And she just wanted to bring back to the community. So this is for me. Another thing that happened just yesterday was a girl who was going to have surgery in a different province, and then because of coronavirus, they didn't have it. And in the meantime, she progressed significantly from March to May by 20 degrees. And obviously, the family is extremely concerned, and they're coming from a different province, and so we saw her here. We offered free treatment for her to give her some relief while she's waiting for surgery. And one of our patients offered to pay for their accommodation.
Wow.
So these are the things that happen. You see, I'm saying it's about the community. It's not only about, patient and the therapist. If this reaches this level of community being involved, this is something I think that matters. It really has the value.
Of course.
Those are the two freshest examples that I can share with. Obviously, people usually always like to hear, improvement in cob angles of so much and so on and so forth. Really, it's so much more than just a cob angle. Having scoliosis is really not, walking around and observing yourself as that X-ray. It's something much more than this. This is a person with feelings, with emotions. They have their own life. They are dealing with everything else like every other person, and scoliosis is not something that identifies them as person, right? So we have to understand that improvement is different for everybody. If a person comes to you as a clinician, you need to take responsibility for understanding what the goal of the treatment is. What is their goal of the treatment? So this is the first thing that you need to ask your patient. They may tell you, I would love to be able to be pain-free so that I can, for example, be able to hike with my husband next month on that mountain that I really wanted to, but I can't because right now I'm just in so much pain. It may be, I would love to be able to wear my dress without my strap falling off of my shoulder. Everybody has different goals, right? Everybody has their own ways of how they see this treatment. And for us as therapists, we have this obligation to listen to our patients.
Yes.
And it's not only about cob angle or whatever. You need to listen to the patients. This is what it is. Knowing your best possible treatment out there and then listening to your patient, combining these two things, and then providing the best possible treatment. That is what I would like to share with everybody.
Yes. Thank you for this. Thank you so much. Would you like to say to the end of this Scholiose Talks, for the people here in Brazil, all the professionals or the patients about live or work with the scoliosis, or advice, or some words, or anything that you want for us?
It's either you have passion for this or you don't. That's what I want to say. So if you have passion for scoliosis, then this is the place where you want to be. If you don't have passion for scoliosis, then just do something else. Because scoliosis, is so complicated. It's very complex. It's not like treating, sprained ankle. It is not as simple as that. People with scoliosis, they have scoliosis, and scoliosis is there to stay. This is a lifelong condition that requires management. And you are there with them, and you're going to be there with them for a long time. And you're going to become, to them more than just a therapist. So if you don't have a passion for scoliosis, then it's better probably to just do something else. If you do have passion for scoliosis, if you do feel like you really love this and you have this passion, then yes, please continue doing this. Continue your education. Be diligent about learning. Just going through one course or completing your full course with part 2 doesn't mean that your education about scoliosis ends. You need to be abreast of research continuously. You have to learn continuously. For me, just because I'm an instructor, it doesn't mean that I stopped my learning process. No, I learn all the time. I learn from my patients. I learn from the students that I train. I'm in constant collaboration and contact with my students. I want to know what they tell me. And then that's how I learn more. That's how I learn to become better teacher as well and better therapist for my patients. So maybe that. Just do if you feel you have a passion for this, that's where you need to be, but then continue learning more and never be satisfied with what you know today. Strive for more knowledge.
Yes. Oh, wow. Great message. Yes. Dear Sanja, thank you so much for being this time with us at Scholiose Talks today. You have made clear the commitment and dedication that is needed to treat scoliosis. That seriousness and ethics together with the proper qualification make up the basis to offer a quality treatment that requires constant improvement, like you said, and whose main objective must be well-being and safety of the patient, of our clients. Thank you so much for your words. Thank you so much for staying with us.
For inviting me. I'd just like to add, we are not treating scoliosis. We are treating people living with scoliosis. And this is different. So this is a whole person.
Yes.
Thank you so much for inviting me. And we'll see you soon. I'm looking forward to coming back to Brazil and learning more Portuguese.
Again. More and more. Thank you.
Thank you. See you soon.
See you soon.
Okay.